Everyone. Tonight on Sports Dialogue, Paul Edwards discusses the NEC Conference Playoffs. Hello, everyone. My name is Paul Edwards. I wanted to introduce myself to you formally. I'm your podcast host. I played quarterback for Wagner College from 1978 to 1981. I also graduated with a 3.0 grade point average with a major in business administration, minor in accounting, and many educational credits. After graduating from Wagner, I had quite a few professional tryouts with the United States Football League, USFL, and Canadian Football League. And I also embarked upon my business career at the same time while playing semi-pro football. I was named the youngest manager in Xerox, featured in a cover story on Black Enterprise magazine, and in 1986, and I became the manager, one of the youngest managers in Xerox in 1985. I started my own business in 1988. I've owned and operated my businesses for the past 37 years. I hope that you enjoy this podcast. The podcast is here to shed a different light, another take on sports. My book is coming soon, Truth Plan LLC. As you may or may not know, I have the Sports Dialogue podcast and the Get This Statement podcast. We have doctors on to encourage everyone to stay healthy and arm us with the information that we need to stay healthy and hopefully live a longer and healthier life. Thank you and God bless.
This video podcast will feature dialogue about and with professional, college, high school players, coaches, management, executives, officials, fans, the role of sports in society, how sports affects the economy, the social benefits of sports in all communities, how to keep sports as safe as possible, how to ensure sports retirees are not forgotten, and how do we ensure that sports continue to play a positive role in the lives of all people worldwide. It is our goal to have guests join us and participate in the sports dialogue during our episodes.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Sports Dialogue podcast. It's going to be a brief session today, but I wanted to make sure that I had a chance to give you my thoughts on the Northeast Conference men's basketball, which is the NEC Conference, Northeast Conference. There are many schools in the conference. LIU, Long Island University. The basketball team is out of Brooklyn. Central Connecticut State is in New Britain, Connecticut. Lemoyne, it's in the Syracuse area. Mercyhurst, New Haven, my alma mater, Wagner College, Fairleigh Dickinson University, FDU, Stonehill, Chicago State, St. Francis, and New Haven, Connecticut. Those are the members of the Northeast Conference, and I obviously root for my alma mater, Wagner College. Obviously, IU Brooklyn. I spent a great deal of my childhood growing up in Brooklyn. Went to Rasmus Hall High School. A lot of friends, family in Brooklyn, and some good folks in Brooklyn. LIU, as we all know, is well, most of us know, is downtown Brooklyn, across from Juniors. I always root for them, except when they play Wagner, for obvious reasons. So I want to start off by saying congratulations to Coach Mr. Rod Strickland. He won the Coach of the Year award for the NEC by coaching LIU Brooklyn. And nice person. Met him briefly a couple times decades ago when he was just started his NBA career, and he was nothing but first class gentleman and a professional. And in watching LIU this year and in past years since he's been at LIU, I see the improvement of the program. I see that he is very disciplined with his players, but he gives his players freedom to play that New York City style of basketball, which generally is over the rim, alley-oop, but there's a lot of organization to it. He just doesn't let them run wild. He's a really good coach, and listen to him in one of his interviews. He gets to know his players by going over the fundamentals with them one-on-one in practice. I heard him say that he doesn't want to be, although he has assistant coaches, he doesn't want to be the head of the food chain that doesn't communicate with the employees, his players. So he has a relationship with the players, and you can see it on the court. They're good teams. So I wanted to just say congratulations to Mr. Rod Strickland on winning the NEC Coach of the Year award. Not only did he win LIU have the Coach of the Year, they won 15 out of 18 games in the NEC. Those are divisional games. Their record is 15-3, and so that's a lot to be proud of. Second in the NEC is Central Connecticut State University. They have some really good players on Central Connecticut State, and not going to name them all, but Mr. Frazier, you have to really watch out for him. He's a big man that runs the floor. He likes to uh, fly high, alley-oop, and he does a real good job of running the floor. Again, he can put his back to the basket and back you down also. You also have to watch number 5 from Central Connecticut State, Darren Smith Jr. He's a load. He can play offense. There's no question about that. He can score. He's a scorer. So we'll get into that momentarily. Lemoyne won 10 games and lost 8, and Mercyhurst won 10 games and lost 8. New Haven, who cannot get into the playoffs because they're new to the division, went 9-9, and my alma mater, Wagner College, went 8-10, FDU 8-10, Stonehill 8-10, Chicago State 5-13, and St. Francis 5-13. So today, which is March 4th, are the quarterfinals. 8 of the teams make the quarterfinals, which are the conference playoffs. It's a new season. I just read to you the standings and the wins and losses for the regular season. And LIU is the regular season champ. Now you get into the conference tournament. And the winner of the conference tournament gets into March Madness. That's the big NCAA tournament. And if you remember a few years ago, Fairleigh Dickinson won the NEC, got into the March Madness tournament, and won some games that they weren't expected to win. Wagner's been in twice, I would say in the last 10 years or so. And so it's always good. It's always good to see an NEC team, a local team, Division I team, get into March Madness. Outside of the UConns and St. John's, they're always good to see a smaller name school, but Division I, if you will, have really good talented players. Some of them can play in the NBA. It's always good to see them get into March Madness and do well. So this is the road to that. Starts tonight, and there are 4 games. There's LIU versus Chicago State, and LIU, if I'm not mistaken, beat Chicago State twice this year. But again, anything can happen. A lot of these teams beat teams that they're not supposed to beat in conference. So I would just caution LIU, which I know I don't have to caution them, but no letdowns. You have to come hard because Chicago State's going to play hard. So I do pick LIU to win that game. I expect them to advance to Saturday, which will be the semifinals. The other game tonight, which is a good one, is Central Connecticut State versus my alma mater, Wagner College Seahawks. And Central Connecticut State did beat Wagner twice this year. There's absolutely no question about that. And as I mentioned, the players that I mentioned, Darren Smith Jr. and Mr. Frazier, and they have some other really good players that can score offensively. They hustle and they play good defense. So it's going to be a little bit of a load for Wagner. But I've been saying all along that this Wagner team can make a March run if they can get healthy and get better. I think they can surprise a lot of people over the coming week in this March tournament. And I've said it on the record, I've said it publicly, that I do believe that Wagner can make a strong run and win the state. I do believe that LIU, obviously, if you go by the numbers, is the favorite. But I think tonight, Wagner's coming into the game against CCSU on a 4-game winning streak. And that's the best time to have it at the end of the year when you're going into March Madness to make the March run. And they have gotten a couple of players back from injury. I know that at least one player's out. So they're not 100%, but they go 9, 10, 11 deep. They can, there's no shortage of good players on that Wagner team. Obviously, they're led by Jones, but Cooper, Gray, uh, Basil, it just goes on and on. They all can contribute and score. When Wagner played CCSU the second time this year, it was a Saturday noon game, and Wagner just Jones was off, and most of the team was off. We had 26 points scored by one player. That was it. Our sharpshooter. That was it. He was the only one going, and the team was off. But since then, they've steadied the ship, and they're playing really, really well. I would suggest, and the coaching staff, does a great job. They have uh, the players playing hard every single game, whether they win or lose. They play hard. They run the floor. There's no one hanging their heads. You can see it's a good program, and the coach has full control. And he's a very energetic coach, and his strategy is good. I would just caution, and I like his rotation. He's got 13 good players, and he plays them. So that's really, really good. I think, though, to beat this CCSU team, Wagner College definitely tonight have to put it together and score. Even if they get off to a slow start, just keep it close. And once you hit your stride, we know you're going to score. So I'm picking Wagner to beat CCSU, which is a very good team, CCSU, the Central Connecticut State out in New Britain, Connecticut. Extremely good team. I just think that I've been saying for a long time that I think Wagner could make a March run, and I think tonight is the night they started. So moving on to the next game would be Mercyhurst versus FDU. And FDU, from what I've seen, if I'm not mistaken, has beaten Mercyhurst twice this year. And Mercyhurst, let me just double check that. If I'm not mistaken, yep, Mercyhurst lost to FDU on January 2nd, and they lost to FDU on February 7th. So you may ask, why am I picking Mercyhurst to win this game? I'm picking Mercyhurst to win this game because I've seen the way that, well, first off, they just beat LIU by 8 points. And this was within the past few games. And they have a good guard. Well, I have a bunch of good players, but from what I've seen, number 11, Lemelman, he stands out. He's a good player, and he takes over in the second half. And they have Blunt, which is another good player. And they have a lot of role players that's really, really good. They're not very big. They don't have, the 6'9", 7-footer, but they play well together with what they have. So no disrespect to FDU at all. I just think that Mercyhurst, the way they're playing now, particularly with the win over LIU recently, I do think that Mercyhurst will win that game. The next game is Lemoyne and Stonehill. So that's the fourth. This is the fourth of 4 games. So there are 8 teams that start, and then there'll be 4 games tonight, and then we'll have 4 teams left to play on Saturday in the semifinals, and then next week the final. So I'm only discussing tonight on this particular episode of the podcast who I think will win in the quarterfinals. And I think that Stonehill and Lemoyne, I will tell you what they have done. Let me just double check. It seems as if I'm not mistaken, Stonehill beat Lemoyne on January 31st. And on February 21st, they won. So Stonehill beat Lemoyne twice. Even if they didn't, I would still pick Stonehill. Saw Stonehill recently against Mercyhurst, and they have a couple of big guys that they're very strong. Are not the highest flyers in the world, but they're strong and they play with the back to the basket, and they have some good scorers. So I do think that Stonehill will win against Lemoyne. So that will leave us for the semifinals on Saturday, which I believe LIU, in recapping, LIU will be in the semifinals with a win over Chicago State tonight. I believe it'll be a big battle in New Britain on the basketball court. I think that Wagner will come away with the win, although CCSU is favored and rightly so. But I think the Seahawks can make up for a lot that you wouldn't say didn't go their way in the regular season by making a good March run. So I have LIU, Wagner, Mercyhurst, and Stonehill winning. Those are my picks for the quarterfinals tonight in the NEC. I think that my feeling going towards Saturday, I don't want to go past tonight yet. My predictions for tonight's winners are based upon what I saw during the season, and I'll take a look at what happens tonight, and be back on again with another episode on Friday or Saturday to give you my thoughts on the semifinals and then the final. And next week, we have the Big East tournament that's getting ready to start. So I'll be talking to you about my picks on the Big East tournament. Obviously, the Big East is a much bigger, more well-known conference than the NEC, but I wanted to give the NEC their props. I wanted to give some time to discuss in the NEC because they're very good players in the NEC. It seems that a lot of the players that are now in the NEC, I wouldn't say a lot, but I've heard a lot of players say, well, yes, I am saying a lot, say that they're from junior colleges and they're pleased to be playing Division I basketball, and some of them are really good. I mean, I saw the guard from Mercyhurst I talked to you about. He's good. LIU has a terrific guard in Brooklyn. He could be a next level guy. I mean, LIU plays above the rim. You know, they have Goins over there, which is a real good guy. You know, he can really, they have a lot of guys that can light it up, LIU. But so does Wagner, and Wagner can play above the rim. We don't have 6'9", 7-footers. We have a bunch of 6'6", 6'7", guys that can hit the boards, can leap, can shoot the three. I would caution Wagner not to just rely solely on the three-point shots. I think that the mid-range game is there. The mid-range shot is much easier, plus the floater. You don't have to take it all the way to the rim every time. You can, if you're open at the foul line or stepping from the foul line, just put up the floater. You don't have to take it into a 6'9" guy. I see Jones does that. He does the floater and he shoots it high. I think he's practicing for the next level when there's 7-footers out there, so he can get it up over them. But he does the floater, and a few other guys on the team uses the floater. I say that they should use the floater tonight, use the mid-range shot tonight, and that quality threes, they're going to come because Wagner wants to take three-point shots. But we don't want to rely upon the three-point shot solely, exclusively. And we want to get the ball down to Basil. One of the best ways to and a condo. One of the best ways to get Frazier off his offensive game is to make him play defense and get him in foul trouble. He's a very good, talented player, and I think that Basil can do it. You back to the basket, pump fake, go up strong, and the whistle will blow. So, and if you have to, we definitely want to double team if we have to. Darren Smith and Frazier. We may not have to start out double teaming them, but if they get going, we need to slow them down. We need to double team them and let somebody else beat us. Don't let their best players beat us. That's my suggestions. I think not that the coaching staff or the organization needs my suggestions. I'm just letting you, the viewers, know what I think. So that's it for the NEC quarterfinals tonight. I'll be back Friday or Saturday with another episodes regarding the semifinals, and then the final next week. And then next week, I'll let you know what my thoughts are on the Big East tournament. Obviously, just looking ahead, St. John's and UConn are probably the two best in the Big East. I root for UConn. They're in the backyard. So, I root for St. John's. I'm a New Yorker at heart, and St. John's really plays really well. So, but it's not going to be easy for St. John's or UConn. UConn lost recently to Creighton at Gamble at home, and then DePaul turned around and beat Creighton, and DePaul doesn't have wins stacked up. So on any given night or any given day, uh, anything can happen with any team, and most of the teams look forward to that Big East tournament. So it's not going to be a cakewalk for any team in the Big East, but we'll get into that next week. We'll talk about that a little bit more next week. Thanks for taking the time, and we'll see you later in the week to discuss the semifinals of the NEC. God bless you.